Welcome, everyone, to EDU 220. This is Teaching Young Children in Multicultural Classrooms. And this is your professor, Dr. Melanie Rodriguez. We have a lot to cover tonight, so get ready. So, Chapter 5, Tracing the Beginnings of Multicultural Education. Wow, there is a lot to cover, but we're just going to go ahead and start out by thinking about the origins of multicultural education in the United States and the world. How is our approach different? And just a quick tidbit here, remember that as I go through the slides in this presentation, at any time, feel free to pause. And if you want to scribble something in your journal or look up something in your text, in your Teaching Young Children in Multicultural Classrooms text, please feel free to do so. That's what this is all about, is giving you the opportunity to go back to what you read this past week and be able to reflect on certain points within the reading, be able to dive deeper and really build more knowledge and build a stronger foundation in multicultural education. So that's what all of these presentations are about, is just really being able to go back to what you've already read through this past week, or if you're in the process of reading through it, and just being able to go back and reflect on certain points within the text, and really to give you an opportunity to research more, because as educators, we are researchers because we are lifelong learners, and it's very important for us to stay focused and to seek truth in everything that we do. Because as we do that, we're able to provide better answers for our students and a better learning experience for them as well. So let's move on. Now reflect on the difference between equity and equality as it relates to education. So I'm going to go to our next slide here, and I just want you to take a moment and pause on this slide. Feel free to just hit pause and just read the differences here and what that means to you in your diverse classroom. Moving on. So the next series of slides focuses on identifying the contributions of key individuals who advocated equity in education. So I want you to take a moment to select one or more of these people and situations, coming up in the next slide, to research more in depth. So take a moment and pause on this slide. Maybe find a name or two that you want to jot down and read more about. Moving on. So do the same thing and take a moment to pause and maybe write down one of these cases to research. Does one of these cases look familiar from the DeVos hearing from last night? It might be this one right here. Now, explain the effect of various laws and Supreme Court decisions on multicultural education. And I think that this is a good opportunity for you to actually be taking your notes and writing down your explanation. Part of the reason why these particular laws are so important is because they really were groundbreaking in multicultural education and in our society. So it's really important to write each one of these down and take a moment to research them and have an explanation of each one of these laws. What do each of these mean? Why are they significant? And then finally, analyze the significance of special programs for young children. And uh, in particular, we have starting off with the PL 94-142, and then it just continues on. But it's very important for you to do your research. And this one in particular is actually connected to your assignment for this week. So that might be a good one to write down. But this one in particular, because this was a topic last night in the hearings, and I think that that's very important for you to be aware of that, as well as the Civil Rights Act. Okay, moving on. So, here is some research about non English speaking and difficulty speaking English statistics. How does this affect your teaching approach? Now, think about what interventions you will use to help scaffold language skills. How can you build a multicultural reality in your diverse classroom? So, this might be a good time to pause and think about, jot down, of course, again in your journal or typing on your laptop, whatever makes the most sense, and do that. Moving on. And so here are some ideas for suggested practices for ELL learners, for ELL students. And that concludes the presentation for this week. Our assignments this week are, of course, about your definition of equality. And then we have a written paper, The History of Multicultural Education, really focusing on researching PL 94142. PL means public law. Yeah, you didn't know that you were going to be a lawyer as well, but it is significant. It's quite significant when you're teaching in your multicultural classroom. It's very important that you understand the rights that students have, the rights that we have as human beings. And in our place of education, it should be a place that is safe, that is a welcoming environment, and that's an environment that really inspires learning and is active in learning. So think about those ideas and just remember real fast, paper should be at least 500 words, APA formatted, include a citation and a reference from our text and or resource from this course for this week. We do have some videos that are available for this week too if you wanted to quote from the video. Also, include your word count at the bottom of your paper, please. That's very helpful. And I will see you in the discussion boards. Have a great week. Good night.